So hello everyone, and welcome to another ResDev in your PJs. Today we're joined by Ellie, one of our colleagues, who is a senior academic developer within the Academy. Hi Ellie. So today we were going to chat a little bit about, we've been talking with Ellie about WriteFest that you were very much involved in last year. Do you want to give us a little bit of information about what WriteFest is?
Yep, so WriteFest is kind of tapping into this idea of giving time and space to think about writing. So there's this whole international movement around Academic Writing Month, where November is the month where we kind of give a little extra attention to the challenges of actually doing academic writing. And WriteFest was just a way of bringing all of that together. So what I've done in the past is, as a website, just pull together all the different writing related events, resources and so on, and just promote that through the month of November. And so I'm hoping to do that again this year and just draw attention to academic writing and start the conversation around academic writing.
And I also know that you have weekly and daily shut up and write sessions as well. You know, how do they work in our virtual world that we're living in now?
Yeah, this is something I set up mostly because I needed to do some writing, and I find it easier to motivate if there's some kind of accountability, like I've told somebody else I'm going to be there, so I have to be there. So I just sent out a message to people that I knew were interested in this idea of shut up and write and used to come to those sessions regularly when we could meet on campus. And it just grew from there. So we now have quite a large team that we call the Shut Up and Write team. And it's just a way for people to connect and to just say, okay, I'm going to be writing at this time. Anyone else want to join me? You're welcome to join in. We all meet in a Teams meeting. We maybe spend a couple of minutes at the start talking about what it is we're writing about. And then we all turn our microphones on mute and we just crack on with actually doing the writing. So it's a way of helping myself and by extension helping other people carve out time and space for writing. It's often something that you think we need to do, we need to write, but everything else always takes priority. There's always an email to answer, there's always a lecture to prepare or something else to do, and writing keeps getting pushed down the list, and you know nobody's going to give you that time. You have to make that time. And so it's kind of just a way of setting aside time by saying I'm going to attend this meeting, and that meeting happens to be just time and space for writing.
Can I ask actually, Ellie, so with WriteFest, but also particularly, you know, through activities that are offered like the Shut Up and Write sessions, what sort of support is there for colleagues who may have English as a second language in terms of the writing that they also need to get done?
The first thing to say is when I've done these sessions like with people before, there's always that comment of, oh, writing must be so much easier for you because English is your first language. And then all the English people in the room say, that's not true, I really struggle. And those who come there with English as a second language, it just feels so much more relaxed, and you're more confident. You're like, oh, actually, it's not because of my language, it's because actually writing is just difficult no matter what. And then in the Shut Up and Write sessions, there's always space to talk about things that are difficult or challenging. And that can be around language, that can be around time, that can be around the process of writing, it can be about anything. So conversations come up in the breaks all the time, and it's a good opportunity for people to just kind of throw out there something that they struggle with, and then they will be chipping in from everywhere of finding solutions and helping each other out. And language can be part of that process.
Great, good.
Fantastic. I've attended one of these sessions, and I'd like to attend more actually. But yeah, I think at the current time, there is a few pets that have turned up during the shut up and write.
Yeah, there's pets, there's children, there's everything, and that's partly why we all put the microphone on mute when there's actual writing time. The idea is, you know, you have to make the time and space as and when and where you can, and you know, you recognize that for a lot of people, we're not sat in some quiet space most of the time. So yeah, but it's you get to know people from all kinds of disciplines. So part of what we talk about kind of in the breaks or around writing is not just about kind of the process of writing or the language, or you start to recognize how disciplines do things differently as well. So it's a good way of just making yourself think more about what it is you're trying to do when you're writing.
Fantastic. And our researchers can get involved in these sessions, can't they? So we can.
They're open to anyone. Yeah, open to anyone who's doing any kind of writing. So whether you're a PhD student, a postdoc, an academic, a professional services, if you have to do any kind of writing, you can come in and write. It doesn't matter what you're writing.
We'll put the link in the description below, like true YouTube experts, influencers.
So Ellie, we're just hoping that maybe you could provide us with a few top tips actually around writing and academic writing in general.
I think the first biggest top tip is writing is not some innate ability that you just happen to be able to do. It takes practice. So with any skill, the more you practice, the better you get at doing it, which is why I've set up this shut up and write session as a way of just helping you kind of commit to doing it more often. So practice is the first top tip. A second one is to set aside regular time and put it in your calendar. Writing isn't something that you can just sit and wait for inspiration to strike. You know, the most prolific, the best writers out there, they all have writing as a regular thing in their diary, in their calendar. You sit down and go, right, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, I have to write for an hour. And then the kind of last top tip is, it doesn't matter what you write, you can always edit it later. So just, you know, shut up and get on with it is kind of the shut up and write idea, is just stop worrying about it and just sit down and get on with it and start putting words on digital paper, because you can't edit anything until you've actually written it down.
So thanks ever so much for joining us today, and we will absolutely put the links about the shut up and write sessions, and also information on WriteFest, which will be taking place again this November as well, and look forward to being involved in that as well, and our researchers being able to be involved too. So thanks ever so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you all at our next ResDev in your PJs bite-sized video, and please do visit our researcher hub to find out more information about development opportunities that are available. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.